Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. It's good to see you. Ready to get started here in just a few seconds. I hit record already, so I'll just start talking, but I know we're going to give folks a chance to get in, but it's Monday. It's June 26th. This is our last Monday of June, so we should really be talking about end of month stuff here today as well. But in my notes, I've got some great stuff for you to go over for July and August and the future. So I'm going to be talking a lot about the future today, but I don't want us to neglect to finish what we started, right? And to finish the month of June strong, because we're having an incredible month of June. And to get us started, I'm just going to start. I've got notes here because I don't want to get off of what I want to talk about, but I see some areas of opportunity for us to continue to grow our ability to grow our businesses. So individually, our businesses, your business, to grow it more effectively, and then collectively, all of our businesses as an agents of change organization. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And to get started, John Fehrenbach's going to weigh in here in a second as well, but he and I were having a conversation, and maybe he'll want to tell us some more about kind of the origin of his thinking on this. But one of the things we were talking about, and what we're going to start by talking about today, is that as we grow this organization, we're having so much success with our Monday evening business overview, where people, and let's just talk about that for a second because we've got new people watching this. This is an opportunity, 9:00 p.m. Eastern every Monday night, where you can bring your guests, your new associates. They can see the business overview, the actual presentation that we do on our company, our services, our flagship products, and the opportunity. We do that in about 40 minutes with testimonials. And then we take a 5-minute break to sign up the guests that are interested in getting started. We come back from that break and we spend about 20 minutes, or basically the remainder of the hour, whatever we have left, talking about how to get started effectively in the business. So it's this opportunity to learn about the business and then immediately pivot into getting started in the business and getting those key directives, which can often elude our team members when they're first sponsoring new associates. So we get it right from me. Since I did the training, we go right into the information about exactly how to get started. And that's been working incredibly well. We started that in May, throughout the whole month of May. Now we're coming to the end of June. This will be our final June Monday night business overview. And so John and I were talking about this growing the leaders that can do this presentation. And John, maybe the best way to do it, because I'm going to come back, I'm going to talk about how we're going to get there, but maybe we could have you just share a little bit about your thoughts going into this. Of course, you're a professional speaker as well, and I think you see an opportunity for the team here. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you share your thoughts with everybody about what it is we're going to be doing going forward.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Jim and I were talking, and obviously he just said that. And the Monday meetings have been going wonderful. And I remember when I had first kind of started really to take off in this business, those meetings propelled my business by leaps and bounds, because we had somebody who, with tons of experience and knew what to say and how to say it, giving a presentation that I was, I didn't do well. Fast forwarding and watching Jim do these presentations, I know that someday, one Monday night, Mr. Tanner is not going to be able to be with us. And who knows what that reason is going to be. But the fact of the matter is that one of us is going to have to take up the flag and run. And my suggestion to Mr. Tanner, based on some previous life experiences, where we got to practice presentations in front of our peers. So in front of folks that are like yourselves, that would be able to give us good critiques, positive critiques. John, you say way the heck too many times. You're afraid to leave dead space in your conversation, whatever it might be. Hey, instead of saying something this way, you might consider focusing it this way. And it obviously, when you're going for those critiques, you're always looking for people that you trust what they say, and you want to make sure you do a great job. And my suggestion And I don't know exactly where Jim's going to go with this, but my suggestion was either two things. We literally do spend some time doing practice presentations that aren't in front of anybody but us. Okay. So, the critiques and things of that sort, and you could follow up big time and it wouldn't matter. And then number two, actually doing a real presentation, but doing part of it, maybe the front end of it, and then Jim would follow up with the back end of it. And that way he could clean up, play cleanup, like as in baseball. So those are a couple of my ideas. You really have to be open to the critiques. If you're inclined to give out mean critiques, go away. But it's a really good way to become a better presenter and to learn how to do this particular presentation. And then with Jim's mentorship, his encouragement, his seeing millions and millions of these presentations, I gotta imagine he can certainly lend a kind and guiding ear for sure. So those are my ideas. Jim, you're muted.
I sure am. Sure was muted. Well, thanks very much. I appreciate that. So that's kind of where we are. And yes, I do have some thoughts about how we're going to elevate people to be in a position to be able to do these presentations. Because here's one of the roles of leadership, is to think way beyond today, tomorrow, this week, this month, this year, and to think years into the future. Well, one of the keys to helping new people get started in the business is not just to have this one event, this tentpole event on Monday nights, although that has been wonderful for us, but it's also to be able to step in and do private Zooms with your new associates, which is essentially where, for example, if John recruits me into his team, one of the services that he can provide as a leader is that he can have me gather up all of the people that I have influence with, get them onto a Zoom, and then he can do the presentation when I'm brand new. He can help me earn income. He can help me launch my business, get paid and promoted, maybe even get promoted all the way to manager. Now, I don't want to go way off the topic, but I always want you to understand how powerful that is. That private Zoom, what we called in the old days before this technology, a private business overview, this is how it was done when I got started in the business. You had to have this event in someone's home. So I want you to imagine selling your new associate on this. They're going to have everybody over to their house. Now, not everybody's comfortable with that, right? Some people, they don't feel good about where they live, or they don't live somewhere that's near all of the influence they have. So there's the geography, and then there's the reality of it. But this was what we asked people to do: have everybody over to your house. And then the expert, man, do I remember doing these, would drive to your house. So John would drive to my house. I'd gather up my people. I'd probably think I was going to have 20 people there. I'd end up with 2. And then so now I'm tense that the person helping me, John Fehrenbach, is going to be mad at me because I only had 2 people there. But he drove, who knows, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to come and do this presentation in my living room so that I could grow my business, so that he could grow his business. So it was all positive. The whole point was positive, but it was incredibly time consuming. And so now we don't do it that way anymore. As a matter of fact, I mean, there are probably people doing it, but we certainly don't promote it that way anymore because of Zoom, because we can get that same momentum even faster with Zoom, because it really doesn't matter where you live or where the people you have influence over live. It doesn't really matter. All of those other factors are out the window. We can provide this service to people in our team. So let me get back to the point. So the point is, we can only provide this service to the people in our team if we're capable of providing the service. And while everybody watching this, everybody watching the replay of this is certainly capable of loading up the PowerPoint and pulling it up on Zoom and then going through those slides and narrating those slides, which is all I'm doing on Monday night. Yes, I'm telling stories, and I've got places I tell stories. And yes, I've gotten very good at knowing how to move from one concept to the next so it feels seamless and conversational, because I've done it thousands of times. But I'm really just narrating the slides. Any one of you could do that. But if you don't feel confident doing it, you're not going to offer it. And so that thing, that duplication factor breaks down, because what we want is to build your confidence and your esteem and your belief in yourself as a presenter, so that you feel natural offering that service to your new associates. And then what happens is your business and your team will just mushroom out. So here's my thoughts on how we can get there. Because I want to establish, what's the vision? The vision is we've got leaders that can do these presentations, whether it's for a national audience on a given night of the week in your team, or you're doing it for individual groupings of new associates in your team, but you're capable of doing it. Well, here's the best way, the way I was taught how to do it, the way I've seen people flourish doing it. And of course, this goes back to when we used to do this in the room, right, at a live event. But it starts with something that we know everybody can be instructed to do rather easily, which is how to craft your story. We call that a testimonial. And I think Venus Power, so I know she's kind of balancing between this meeting and another right now, but because she's trained by Corey Muhammad, who is the master at how to craft your story and how to keep it efficient. I see Venus turning her camera on. Do you have a moment? Can you share about, and be nice, but can you share a little bit about how to craft a story, or maybe just give them a sense of what you could offer in helping, because this is the first level of how you can start to get comfortable being a part of this presentation, is you can do a testimonial. Venus?
So your testimonial should be less than 45 seconds, no longer than a minute ever. And you should tell where you came from, why you came here, and what your goal is, or what this company means to you. 5 sentences, maybe. I came from a technology startup company background. When you are in those situations, you are bought and sold, you buy and sell companies. Sometimes you're a part of the sale, sometimes you're not. So when those things happen, people make decisions for your finances. I came to a work from home company because I needed to work from home for my husband's illness and my children. They started making decisions for my money also. So I found Legal Shield. I learned that through a 20-minute video, I was able to control my own destiny. And now I'm able to have the time freedom and the financial freedom that I look for. Boom. That's your story.
So 5 sentences, Venus says, 45 seconds, 45 seconds is the goal, 60 seconds is the cushion.
And I'll tell you, Corey will do this in the back room, and he will send you text messages and talk to you about it for 20 minutes if you go over 45 seconds. And if you are the first, these are the few things you need to remember. If you're the first person to give your testimonial, you set the stage for every testimonial after. If you go long, everyone else will go long. If you are asked to give a summary of a Super Saturday and someone says, give us 2 minutes, stop at 2 minutes. You don't have to give a summary of every page of notes that you took. Give like your 3 favorite things. Give your 1 favorite thing if it really impacted you. So you do not have to belabor the point. I am so guilty of it. I mean, I have been schooled because I love to jabber. In a minute, Jim's going to say, okay, thank you, Venus, that's enough. But, you do have to be conscious of other people's time, because these presentations are designed to go less than 30 minutes, including testimonials. Now, Legal Shield's format is to go 25 minutes to do the presentation, and it's only scheduled 3 minutes for 3 testimonials. Then they break for 5 minutes, then they come back for a training, the way that the Monday night call is going. So when you're giving your testimonial, time yourself, write it down, time yourself, be courteous of other people, wear proper clothing, and brush your hair.
Thank you, Venus. So Venus just laid that out, and that's somebody that you can ask questions to in the future. But let me get back to, so I want to show you how we build the blocks of this thing. So the first place where you can start to get comfortable, where you can't hurt anything, you could go long and we could talk about that, but you can't really break anything. You can't hurt anything by doing a testimonial. So it's a great place for you to practice, because it's your story, right? Only you know your story, and you can hone your story and simplify it and shorten it. But that's where you start. Now, the folks that are getting comfortable, and you'll see people being uncomfortable. I've been uncomfortable doing the testimonials when I first started, right? But what happens is then you'll see people are comfortable at the testimonial, and then the next kind of promotion up from that, and this is a really important promotion, and this is why it's a promotion, I'll tell you why in a second, is hosting. So the folks that we've had hosting on Monday nights, and hosting is really greeting everybody, setting the stage and the energy level for the event. and then introducing the speaker. Now, what that does is it gives the speaker a chance to gather themselves. So in this case, me currently, it gives me a chance to gather myself, to see, because I'm dealing with technology too. I got 3 screens, making sure things are sharing, that the chat's open, making sure that, my Wi-Fi is strong. All that stuff is happening while the host is talking. But the most important thing is for the audience, the energy is being set. The expectation and the professionalism is being set. So that's a promotion from testimonial to host. And that's another great spot. So now you've gone from that 45 to 60 second testimonial spot to where now you're setting the energy and you're setting the emotion of what's about to happen and introducing the speaker. And you've got about 2 minutes there, 2 to 3 minutes where you're getting everybody online and greeting them and then setting that. So that's a promotion, right? That's kind of the second tier is to host. So watch people do that because it's important work. And you'll see great, and the folks that are doing the testimonials, folks that are doing the hosting, we're gonna be giving them the feedback if they want it, because this is a big consent-based coaching program, okay? I'm not just gonna hammer somebody. If you want to know what you could have done better, we're gonna help you with that. The next promotion up from that is doing the front half of the presentation. So essentially we divide it in 2, and the front half, I want you to imagine where the Legal Shield, the company, then the Legal Shield product, and the ID Shield product, that's the first half. Then the second half is about the opportunity and the money and the testimonial. So you do the front half, and John talked about this. Why do you do the front half? Well, it's the product. Most everybody, if you've been around for a little while, if you're someone we can promote to doing that part, you've done a great job hosting and setting the tone, you're comfortable in front of the screen, and you're going to be in a position where you feel comfortable narrating those slides, talking about how Legal Shield has helped you. You got to have your own testimonials about how you've used the service in there. And the speaker that's going to go next, which will be me for a while, that's going to do the opportunity. If you say something that's wildly incorrect, they'll just fix that for you. Or maybe you say something that's not clear, they'll fix that for you. In other words, the person that's going to come on and do the second half, the opportunity, is listening and paying close attention to what you're saying, just in case there's a little bit of mopping up that has to be done. Now, this is how I train. When we had live events in the old days before Zoom, when we only did business overviews in person in hotel conference rooms, this is exactly how we train people to do it. And this is why so many people from 5 years ago and back are so excellent at this, because this is how they moved up and got promoted through. And so the next level of the promotion is you can do the opportunity half, right? Because now you're the closer, most important part. Now, the closer's job is not to convince people to join the business. The closer's job is to give clear directions and keep the emotion high as people are making a decision to join the business. And again, fixing kind of that stuff that needs to get fixed up. So hopefully that's helpful. And then in our Monday night briefings that we're doing, I'll continue to do the leadership training for now. But again, that is something that we can definitely promote leaders to. So let me go through that again real quick, because I kind of chopped it up there. We're looking for people that want to get good at doing their testimonials. Some of you are already excellent at it, but let's build that group, because it's the foundational group that we can promote from. The promotions are to hosting. We've got some good hosts, but we don't have enough hosts. Some of our hosts right now should be getting promoted to doing the opportunity. The membership, the front end of the opportunity overview, by talking about the membership and the company. And so we're going to keep promoting people. And I'm talking about this with you all, both so that you'll know what your journey is, but you can also watch each other as agents of change that are taking this and cheer each other on, because this is something where everybody's stepping outside of their comfort zone. I know that. Fact is, it's out of my comfort zone to come and do it every Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to do it, but before we put that flag in the ground, I thought about all the other things I might want to be doing on Monday nights at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern, including going to bed. But I decided that this was important to our team to have this one moment, again, flag in the ground, where we all gather and we help each other build the business. And so far, this has been working swimmingly. So now we're going to expand on that incredible success by developing the leaders that can flourish this and go forward in the future. Now, so we've talked about that. And thanks to John, thanks to Venus for chiming in on that. Another thing I want to talk about, let me just get back to my notes real quick. Yes, okay. So I got 2 other things to talk about. They are the three-way calls. So in no particular order, three-way calls and 2 exposures a day. And where I can, because this is the mastermind. So at whatever level in the business you're at, you're here because either you just are showing up at everything, you don't really know what we're doing, or hopefully you understand the point of this Monday meeting, which is for us to talk about how to get you individually to a 6-figure income, annual income in this business. So I'm having conversations with this group of people as leaders. You could be brand new in the business, but if you're thinking like a leader, if you're thinking like a 6-figure earner, then this is where I ask for your help to champion the causes that I believe will get us where we need to go. And one of the next ones is 2 exposures a day. There's two concepts here: 2 exposures a day and 3-way calls. Some of you, and some, now everybody's going to say, oh, he's talking about me. I'm not talking about anybody, but we all are guilty of this. When we are talking with folks and we are talking about 2 exposures a day, I want you to understand, I hope that you're doing as many exposures as you can. I hope you're doing, if you did 5 or you did 10 or you did 20 that day, awesome. That's wonderful. Don't talk about it. I understand. Please, I hope you're hearing my heart today and you don't get offended by this. If you did 20 exposures, you deserve to be cheered about and championed, and we should have a parade for you, because that's 20 people that woke up this morning that had no idea about this business or this membership, and you changed that for them, and I love you for it. I really do. And if you want to have that acknowledgement, call me, and I will talk to you about that, and I will be so excited. But when we're in front of the team, what happens is when you say that, and I've done this too, but when you say what you did, you crush the person that was going for 2. And all of a sudden 2 isn't enough anymore. And 2 is too little, and 2 won't get it done, and 2 won't get me there. And so what they do is all of that negative self-talk that they have just is amplified by how much you did. And that could be in anything you do, right? But it's especially important about the 2 exposures a day. So if you did 20, you also did 2. Talk about the 2. And whatever else happened, just stick with me on this. I promise you, you will see people that believe in themselves more and more and more if we get tight about this. Because what people believe right now when they come in the door is that 2 doesn't move the needle. And I promise you it does. If you had 2 people because here's the other issue. I just want to make sure, I don't want to belabor this point, but here's the truth of it. The people that are saying I did 20 exposures today, they didn't have 20 people watch that presentation. What they did was they sent the link to 20 people, and that's cool, but that's not really what we're talking about. When people are brand new, we give them a whole bunch of space. Remember power training with Jeff Olson? We don't crush the new people. We don't say, hey, it's only an exposure if they actually watch the presentation. No, we say, let's get 2 out there and let's celebrate that. So when we're talking to the group, we don't really have to dig down into that and say, but did they watch it? But that's really what we're going for, right? Is 2 people today watch that video. Like last night, 10 p.m., I got a push notification from my prospect app that somebody watched the video, watched 100% of the video. That's somebody I'm calling this morning. All right, that was one of my exposures yesterday. But it's the 2 exposures a day. So just do this because the next person that decides not to do the business because one of us said we did 20 exposures that day, that's on us. We crushed their hopes and dreams, and we'll never even know we did it. But I know that that's happening. That's, sometimes people join on Monday, they quit on Wednesday. Why? Because they're getting the wrong messaging. And the messaging is that no matter how busy you are, no matter how little experience you have or how few people you know or whatever else you want to, we can go through the whole On Purpose book, right? All of those distortions that we tell ourselves. Nobody will join my team. I don't have the education. I've never done sales. I have a job. I'm too busy. Nobody will help me. Whatever it is, we've got to overcome that. We don't overcome it if we start building these ideas in people's minds or reinforcing ideas they came up with already, which is that they have to do more than they have time to do. They have to do more than they have the ability to do. And that takes me to my final thought, because I don't want to run out of time here, which is 3-way calls. I'll bet, I don't know everybody that's here with me live. I don't know about your day-to-day business. And I don't know everybody's going to watch the replay, but I'll bet a whole bunch of you do not need a three-way call to get somebody to sign up. I'll bet you can just sign them up. So just like the 2 exposures versus the 20 exposures, you've got to talk about what works. And it's great. It's even better if you're doing what works and what duplicates is what I should say. You got to talk about what duplicates. So you might be doing something that works, like just closing people, signing them up on your website. I do it too. Okay. Let's just all be honest. If I'm talking to somebody on the phone and they've seen the video and they're interested and I'm answering their questions, I'm going to sign them up. Unless they don't have the money, they're joining my team. But what I talk about in front of the whole team is three-way calls, because I don't want my new person to try to do that because they're not going to be able to do it. And if my new person truly believes that they're going to have to answer questions, watch this, stay with me here. If my new person that I just recruited, I'll say it another way. So let's go back. So Venus just recruited me and I'm brand new in the business. And she says, Jim, make a list. And I'm like, okay, made it. So I make a list. And then she says, now you're going to start sending this video to the people on your list. If I think that I have to answer the questions that the people that I'm sending that video to are going to ask, I'm never going to send the video out in the first place. So now you're not getting the 2 exposures a day out of me, because I'm deathly afraid that people are going to have questions and make me look foolish. You know why? Because I'm an adult in America and I don't want to look foolish. See, we recruit all these adults. They're good at some stuff and they like being good at that stuff and they don't want to be bad at stuff and they want to stay in their comfort zone. So when Venus then instead explains to me that she is going to answer their questions and she tells me how a three-way call works, or she has me watch the video in the Prospect app so that I understand, wow, not only do I not have to do the presentation because the video is doing the presentation, I don't even have to answer the questions, because when somebody watches the video and has questions, Venus is going to answer the questions for me. Now, if you're thinking about the baseball diamond, all I had to do was make a list and send some text messages, make a list and have some conversations, make a list and invite some people to learn something. And that gets me around the diamond. And think about it from Venus's point of view. I mean, where's the leverage, right? I mean, she can recruit, even if she's hustling, 5 people a month that she can help by herself. But she could do three-way calls that lead to 20 or 30 or 40 more people joining her team every month that are working with the group. And so there's the power of that leverage as well. So those are the things I want to talk about. All right, so we're out of time, so we're going to recap. So here's where we are. So we're going to start developing presenters from the group of people that are interested in being presenters, but you have to volunteer. And the most important thing you can volunteer for right now is doing testimonials. So we'd like to have 4 testimonials, 45 to 60 seconds every Monday night. And that's a great rat-a-tat, right? Because they just heard me talk for about 25 minutes at that point, 20 minutes. So it's a break for me to stop talking. And it's a chance for them to hear from 4 people with 4 different stories about why they're joining the business that these people are looking at. So it makes sense, right? So I need testimonial volunteers. And then we're going to be promoting to people that are doing hosting and promoting to people that are going to help with the front end of that presentation. And then finally, people that can do the whole presentation. And then we're going to dispatch this army of capable speakers, presenters, and trainers. And you're going to be doing private business Zooms for your whole team. And then your team's just going to grow, not by ones and twos, not by addition, but by multiplication. And no matter what happens, because you're going to have people quit the business, you're going to have people cancel their membership. That's subtraction, as Mr. Self always says, that's subtraction. But when you have multiplication going, subtraction can't keep up with multiplication. And you're going to grow and you're going to flourish. We're going to talk about and continue to talk about 2 exposures a day. And we're going to sell that because that is actually what works. The fact is that the people earning the most income in this business are doing so not because they personally are doing more exposures. It's not why. It's because they have the most people doing the core work, which is 2 exposures a day, right? I mean, imagine that you have the business that Brian Carruthers has. How many thousands and thousands of people today will do 2 exposures on behalf of his business? That's what you're doing. And remember, last week we talked about that when we talked about how to build an ED business to get you to a 6-figure income. Executive directors are not doing more. they're doing what you're supposed to do, but they have more people doing it. Go back and watch the replay. I definitely explained it better when I had more time last week. So 2 presentations a day, driving that belief down into your organization, and then 3-way calls, driving that belief in your organization that you and I and every other leader will be there to answer questions, to support those prospects, because those are the folks that have seen the information and want to talk to us. And we should be running each other over for the opportunity to talk to those people. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks so much. Remember, go to agentsofchange.team. Someone will put that in the chat, agentsofchange.team, to the resources page for the replay of this mastermind, our Wednesday, all agents, all hands circle up. And of course, the replay, if you want the replay from our 9 p.m. Eastern business overviews, that's also available. So you can use it all week long. I'll see you tonight, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I'll be rested. I'll be well fed. I'll be fresh, energized, excited to speak to your guests, my guests, all of our associates as we continue to build this organization. And we finish the month of June strong with more recruiting, more memberships, more Performance Club qualifiers, more rank advancements, more Fast Start qualifiers, more success across this entire team. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.